Okay, today, so what I'm going to describe about is, here is a tip about how to memorize the English vocabularies very easily for Korean students. Well, I could able to say that some of the that the English language doesn't consist with the two different kinds of word, which is called as a compound word. So I think that in some vocabularies that you could able to memorize it by yourself, but I would like to give some examples about how to memorize with these under the vocabulary. So this might be very helpful to understand about how to memorize with the vocabularies. Okay, let's go for the next page. Okay, first of all, what I try to think of is that, of course, that some of the words doesn't have a compound word, which is just one word. One word means that, let me try to give example with the word. I could able to say that there is a word called apple, but in Korean word we say sakwa, right? So, according to the word of apple, the apple is kind of a one word. So, we don't have any choice to memorize with this word, so that's what we try to say as the sakwa. For example, there's a word called pear. Pear means pear, right? But according to according to these under the vocabularies, there's no other choice. So that's what you need to memorize by yourself. And also there's a word called bear. Bear means comb, but all you need to do is that you don't need to consider about how to memorize this word. So you can able to memorize by yourself. Another example is like the mother and father, and other word is saying like 어머니, 아버지, right? Okay, let's try to go for the next page. Alright, so these are the best examples about how to memorize with this the compound word. Okay, let's try to go for first vocabularies, which tries to say as backpack. Okay, the word of backpack is the word that came from back and pack. So that's what it describes the word as 가방, right? So it's kind of a materials that we can able to wear at the back side. So that's why we try to say as backpack. Okay, here is a tricky vocabulary which is called as a strong man. The word of strong man consists of the word as a strong and man. Okay, whenever we try to understand about these words as a strong and man, I hope that every Korean that the student cannot understand the word. Why does this word consist with man? Well, when you try to look at the English language, I could able to say that all the English vocabularies that they think that the man is the best and woman is the least person. So that's what they try to memorize as strong man, which means that each and every each and every job the only the man is trying to do. So that's what we try to say as strong man. Strong means some. It's the opposite word of weak, and man is a person, right? But let's try to think of why this word becomes a word as 독재자. It's because whenever you try to give example like Stalin or Mussolini or Adolf Hitler, he really has a lot of power. Of course, that also leaders might have lots of power, but if their power is too strong, they can abuse this the power to the citizens. So that's why many people are trying to criticize the word that they try to say as strong man. So that's why the word of strong man usually try to say as 독재자. Okay, let's try to go for next page. Alright, according to these vocabularies, so one thing that I can able to understand is that this word is very tricky to understand about. Let's try to give example of the word as teacher. Teacher is 선생님, right? So whenever we try to understand about how to memorize with this, the thing is, there is a word called teach, but in general, the word of teach could be used as the verb, so which means 가르치다. And er is some kind of professional words that something that we try to describe as the person who teaches. So that's what we try to say as teacher. Okay, let's try to go for dictator. I understand that every person cannot understand why the word of dictator becomes 독재자. It's because there is a word called dictate. In general, the word of dictate can be used as the verb. Dictate means that something that we could able to give orders to other person, right? So that's what we try to say as dictate and person. Dictate. Hey, you do this. You do that. So which means that I can able to force other people try to do this. So that's what we try to say as dictators is 독재자. Okay, let's try to go for writer. Writer is a very tricky word to understand. Writer, the word came from write and R. Write is something to jot something on a piece of paper. And also there's a word called R. R could be used as a professional word, so that's what we try to say as writer. Okay, let's try to go for next page. And also what I can able to say is that some of the vocabularies have two different kinds of meanings. Okay, there is a word called bear, where the word of bear could be used as a noun. Then it usually describes as it's kind of an animal. But if we try to use as a verb, that's something that which it means it tries to endure. Endure means 견디다. If you cannot understand the word of the 견디다, I could able to say that the word usually comes from patient. Okay. Let's try to go for next vocabularies, which is called as deliver. Deliver means 배달하다, 연설하다, but in recently on some of the newspaper, it recommends the word which is called as deliver, which means that deliver a baby. Now, if a Korean student tried to translate the word as deliver a baby as 아기를 배달하다, then that's totally a nonsense on that the vocabulary. So whenever we try to say as baby, deliver what? Give a birth. So that's what we try to say as deliver a baby. Okay, that's all for class for today, so that I'm surely that this kind of vocabularies might be able to help you try to understand about how to memorize these vocabularies very easily. Okay, next session I'm going to have a little bit of break and I'm going to tell you about how to memorize the Korean word very easily. This must be the good class for foreigners. Okay, I'll see you in after about an hour. Okay, thank you. And also, well, one thing that I would like to say is that I have the YouTube channel which is called the Kim's Korean Culture, Language, and Lifestyle. So why don't you come to my site and try to subscribe and try to press like in this session. Thank you very much.